This is the Northwest Tank Line Super Bowl show. We are coming to you from Radio Row, a Mandalay Bay Hotel, Super Bowl LVIII, between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. Our 23rd time at Radio Row, and it's always a treat seeing this guy face-to-face. The one and only Ross Tucker. You know him, man. Ross Tucker, NFL podcast. He's got his college podcast, NFL handicapping podcast.
Even Money, it's called.
Even Money, yeah.
I like the ring.
Thank you, Canadian College Championship. Taylor always bugs me about it. I was given to it because I was an alumni and kind of supported the thing. And I didn't like playing, although I did play it. And it's funny, I played at UBC and coached at UBC for the longest.
Guess what? Princeton has sent me a couple Ivy League championship rings.
Yeah, there you go.
And I wear them when I do like a speech.
Yeah.
Or something. You know what's funny? I just thought of this. Friday night, I have my wife's daddy-daughter dance. My girl's daddy-daughter dance. I'm gonna rock my my championship ring to the daddy-daughter dance.
There you go.
Show all the other daddies up.
Hey, speaking of Dhaliwal, have you got him signed up for myfrontpagestory.com?
No, but he should be. I mean, how can he not be?
Taylor's got so much disposable income, he should buy it for Dhaliwal and himself.
Is that right? Tell me about those guys.
Oh, hey, they're still working. I'm doing TV. They're TV stars now.
What channel is it? I don't even know what it's on.
Check TV.
What is Check TV?
Vancouver Island. And it's seen in the Vancouver market as well.
I mean, they have a pretty good audience because I get emails from people and stuff. All they want me to do is make fun of Rick.
Yeah.
They're like, I'll get an email, you didn't make fun of Rick today once.
Ask Dhaliwal about Vegas and why he's banned from City of Vegas. You ever hear the story?
No.
6 a.m. update. He'd been drinking till 4, tried doing the update, and it was just a mess. Absolute mess.
What update? On the radio?
Yeah, like when he was doing updates for us. We did like a big client thing down here, right? And there's actually, if you Google it, you can probably find it online, where he's like trying to do the update, and he's just like, it's a complete wipeout.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so ask Dhaliwal, tell me about the update from Vegas at 6 in the morning.
I will. I think I only have one more with those guys next week after the Super Bowl, but I will gladly do that.
If I can find it on YouTube, I will send it to you.
It's good to see you in person, man.
Yeah, it's always fun.
How's everything going up
good.
in BC?
Good. Doing the play-by-play for the Lions, and that's still a lot of fun. And have a great time working with my crew and Julio Caravetti, I should say our crew, Julio Caravetti, our producer, Mike Whittingham. And Nick Kowalski here's our Lions videographer. So
nice.
It's a lot of fun, yeah. Hey, of all the questions you faced on Radio Row and here in Vegas, I got to say probably the question that you were stumped by, the one that you had no answer for, was the other night at Media Night at Allegiant Stadium when I asked you about the X Factor. Dude, you would not believe how much heat I took for that. It was like people were like, what a dumb question. Tucker just ripped you. And I'm like, guys, we're friends. It's all in good fun. No, it's not. He ripped you. I'm like, no, it's all good.
It all is in good fun. And you're not the only person that asked that question. It's funny. The more you know somebody, the longer you know somebody, the more you're likely to bust their chops about a question like that. So, no, I think X Factor is a fine question. I think it's like I guess lazy question is what I would say. It would be like the question I would ask if I didn't have like a real question to ask.
But you know what I like though? It gives you a wide berth. You can talk about whatever you want from there.
That's
I'm
true.
I'm not pigeonholing you. Now you can go off and talk about whatever you want. Because as a guest sometimes people want to talk about stuff and you're like, no, I really want to get into this. This is the focus.
My thing is I go on shows now and I just start asking them questions. Because I'm not really interested in the stuff I already know or talking about me. Like, I'm interested in more in, like, British Columbia and Vancouver. And is there a lot of anti-Niners fans because they like the Hawks?
No. I would say no. There are a lot of Niner fans in Vancouver because you got to realize the Seahawks weren't that good with a certain generation, and kids grew up watching Montana and stuff. So there are a ton of 40. I mean, you go to Seattle for a 49er game, man, there's tons of 49er fans.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I know this. They travel very well to a lot of places. That's for sure.
Think it's going to make a difference come Sunday? One team might have a bit of an advantage with the crowd?
Well, you and I were both at opening night, and there were certainly a lot more Niners fans at opening night than Chiefs fans. There has to be a little bit of fatigue, I would think, for Chiefs fans at this point. I mean, obviously they're loving it, and it's the dynasty and whatever, but if you paid to go to the Super Bowl last year, are you going to make sure you pay these exorbitant prices to come out this year? I just think that's probably unlikely. I think you're more likely to have, the Niners fans, because they've only been twice since whatever it is, the 90s, I guess, right? When the Niners is just 2019 and this year they haven't gone any other time.
The Ravens game in New
Orleans.
No,
you're right. 2012,
right? With
2019,
Kaepernick.
but they also haven't won one.
Yeah. So, these Niner fans they're clamoring for a Super Bowl, especially with everyone else having success. Ross Tucker is our guest, the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, Ross Tucker Fantasy Feast, Business of Sports Podcast, Ross Tucker College Draft Podcast, and the Ross Tucker Even Money Podcast. Ross Tucker gets mentioned a lot, like in your branding. That's good. I like that.
Yeah, you know what? It's like a Google search thing, I think. I even did Ross Tucker Football Podcast so that, like, if you Googled football podcast, it would come up. Or if you searched on Apple Podcast or iTunes or whatever.
Hey, let me throw this because you played this position in the National Football League, and I talked to Tim Ryan, 49ers.
Love Tim Ryan.
Great guy. It's funny because we hadn't talked in years. I talked to him when he was with the 49ers, and then he went to Network, and then I hadn't talked to him since he's gone back. And I saw him the other night. I had to kind of tough recognize him because he had a ponytail going on.
Yeah.
Right? He says he's going to cut it if the 49ers win. But I asked him, I said, give me one story about the 49ers that people aren't talking about. He said the O-line. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think, especially considering they lost McGlinchey in free agency, I think they've done a pretty good job. Now, I think the last couple games been a little bit dicey in pass pro, at least, on the right side of the offensive line, with McKivitz and Feliciano. But I think overall, like, here's the thing, man. They're not really paying any of those guys other than Trent Williams. I mean, think about that. Like, Trent Williams, they have Trent Williams and then basically, like, I don't want to say journeyman, but 4 guys that are not considered among the elite or anything like that. It's pretty impressive that they're able to be this productive, top 5 offense, all those things, considering what I just said.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's how you get to this game. You got to find value somewhere, right? And it sounds like San Francisco's getting that value from their O-line. And their quarterback.
That's a terrific point.
Yeah.
That's actually, write that down. Moj made a good point, which is true. You do have to find value somewhere, and they have found value in the offensive line, not paying all those guys an exorbitant amount. And I think it's because you're right. They're trying to pay linebackers like Fred Warner and Greenlaw, and they're trying to pay a lot of positions. If you can get production from the offensive line, that's valuable.
You're an intelligent individual, Ivy Leaguer, as you mentioned, Princeton, home of the Tigers.
Did I say that? I didn't say that.
Did. No, I did.
Okay.
I mean, you're a smart guy. So and plus you played O-line. You know where this game's won and lost. It's won and lost in the trenches. How do you break down the battle of the line of scrimmage with these two teams?
So I think earlier in the year I would have said Niners. Based on how they were playing, I thought the Chiefs' tackles were struggling a little bit. But more recently, I kind of think you need to say it's the opposite. I think now you got to say that it's the Chiefs up front. I mean, the Chiefs kind of stoned the Ravens' running attack. Now, the Ravens, I'm still frustrated by that they didn't try to run it more or run it the way they had been. So that's a big negative, I would say, for the Ravens. But I would say the Chiefs' D-line has stepped up and played better, and the Chiefs' O-line. Now, the X factor in that question, Moj, is Joe Thuney. He's not going to play. I'd be shocked if he did. Allegretti's a drop-off. Like, with Thuney, they have the best interior trio in the league. Without Thuney, that changes things a little bit. And Allegretti's a decent drop-off. So I'll be curious to see how that unfolds.
Before we wrap up with myfrontpagestory.com and Rick's story about Vegas, I don't like asking for predictions, but I do like asking.
Oh, no, I'll give you one. I don't care.
No, I like asking, where's this game going to be won and lost? What are some of the questions you want to see answered come Sunday? And then tell me who wins.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think everybody's curious. It's hard to imagine them winning unless Purdy plays well the whole game. He's played well in the last drive against the Packers, the second half against the Lions. He needs to play well for the whole game against the Chiefs. And the way their defense has played this year, I'm just not convinced he's going to be able to do that. I mean, the way the secondary has played for the Chiefs and the way their corners have played, I don't think he'll do that. I think if these teams played 10 times, I think the Chiefs would win 7 or 8 of them. And so this is obviously one of them, you would think. So I'll go 24-20 Chiefs, But who knows? Maybe it'll be one of the 2 or 3 games where the Niners will win.
MyFrontPageStory.com. Again,
By
people want
far
more
the
info.
best Valentine's Day gift of all time. People have no idea what to do for Valentine's Day. You talk to one of their writers for 10 minutes while you're driving around British Columbia. Tell them how great your significant other is. It looks like you're looking at it, Moj. It looks like it's on the cover of the newspaper. Yeah. It's framed. It's beautiful. And just to be able to give it to her and say, I want to do something special for you, babe. I had a story written about you. Like, that just sounds amazing. MyFrontPageStory.com. MyFrontPageStory.com. Trust me.
All right, before we let you go, remember, Dhaliwal, Vegas Sports Update, 6 a.m.
I got it. I'm on it.
Ross, great stuff. Always
Always
pleasure
good to
seeing
see you. Absolutely, buddy.